we continue the video, today we're gonna take a look at the Ultra League again. We haven't taken a look at the Ultra League for ages, so why not? We currently have it available, and I kinda wanted to take a look at this Pokemon here anyway. We're going to take a look today at some games from Custom Approach, someone who is actually, I think, on the leaderboards a ton of times during the seasons usually. And we will see here some gameplay with an Ultra League XL version of Weezing. This Pokemon is one Pokemon that I definitely kind of want to build, as I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty nice for the Halloween Ultra League Cup, which we're going to have the first time this time around, and especially Fairy types that can also beat Steel types are kinda cool, to be honest. We have here the moveset of Play Rough and also the Overheat. Before, like, you could have run Sludge if you wanted to as like a bait move, but here Play Rough is definitely needed. You have a ton of Dark types in this meta, you have a ton of Fairy types in this meta, especially something like the Giratina. Giratina going to be even more common as soon as we have the move for it, which is going to be the Shadow Force. So yeah, this will be one of the coolest Pokemon to use here, and we can take a look at what this thing can do. We have the final matchup here, where it can go for one Play Rough against this Wigglytuff. I'm pretty sure that the Overheat does more damage in total, but of course you don't really want to get debuffed. You're actually going to be able to reach the Overheat after it's faster, which is interesting to know. But they're going to be able to knock you out. You should be able to go into your Swampert, and you should be able to reach the Hydro Cannon in time to knock out the opposing Pidgeot here. Pidgeot is one of the most annoying Pokemon to deal with in the Open Ultra League, to be honest. Would not, I wouldn't be surprised if we would see this more often as well. In general, about this team here, it's a little bit weird, to be honest. This team has some issues, I think, against opposing Swamperts. I don't know how difficult or easy it is to build a team around the Weezing. I'm not sure if they're going to use the Weezing as a safe swap here or the Registeel, we have to see. But we will see still one Warren here, which of course has access to the Earthquake. And as this Pokemon doesn't have a Levitate like in the main series games, you will be able to take a ton of damage from it, but you're actually going to be able to now go for an Overheat. Could have went for the Play Rough, I guess. They shielded up. Not the ideal scenario there, but you're going to be able to take this move now, going to be an Earthquake. And you have this thing low enough that even one Hydro Cannon should nearly knock them out. We see a normal Swampert here, not a Shadow Swampert, so maybe it doesn't knock it out. I'm used to the Shadow version. I usually never run the normal Swampert, so we will see that they at least can farm them down now. You have some moves stored, but you also face the Pokemon that you really don't want to face, which is going to be the Trevenant. But what an amazing catch here by this player, catching the Seed Bomb onto the Registeel, and we see the Nidoqueen coming back in. This seems like kinda hardball, to be honest. I don't think there's anything you can do here anymore. You go for the debuff. Against Nidoqueen, it's a really awkward scenario for the Registeel. There's nothing that you can do here anymore, to be honest. Like, you have still some energy on your Swampert, of course, but the opponent has some moves still stored on the other Pokemon, on the Trevenant. So yeah, the Earth Power will actually be not enough to KO you here. You were able to swap out in time. You were able to knock them out here. You can go for an Earthquake, but they basically farmed you down. They have a Shadow Ball, and they will knock you out with that one as well here, and you're going to surrender now. Next opponent here, Skuntank. Skuntank going to be a very decent matchup for you, especially in the lead here. They will be able to go for the Crunch in time before, but because you're not the Shadow version, you don't really have to shield, but you can shield, of course, as you can keep your Swampert healthy, especially as they don't swap out here. It seems like they're double weak to Swampert maybe. And you can go for another Hydro Cannon, which will knock out the opponent. We see a Credilli coming in. Okay, that's not something that I would have expected. You can now swap into your Weezing, and we will see the Talonflame in the back. As expected, they are double weak to the Swampert, but it's still a tough spot here. Credilli gets hardwalled by the Registeel, like there's nothing Credilli can do here. So it's basically all about getting rid of this Talonflame in time. And it's going to be a close one, as you need your Swampert now. Talonflame might go for a full and sweep here, we have to see. But maybe they're going to let one move go through, so they try to sweep endgame with Credilli. That would be a nice play for you at least. But if not, it's going to be a tough one. You're going to shield up this move, they go for the move, and they're actually going to swap out into the Credilli, which is a very good thing for you. You are not yet at the move for the Swampert, but of course you had to swap out, otherwise you would have got hit by this Grass Knot. You will be able to tank those Grass Knots here, and you can go for one Focus Blast, which would knock out the opponent. You will be able to get to another move as well here with your Registeel against the opposing Talonflame. And I'm pretty sure they have to throw as well. I think you're fine here, to be honest. I don't think one, one Flame Charge will knock out your Swampert yet, and you get to a move here anyway. I don't think this knocks you out, but I'm not sure. It's neutral, like, not neutral in terms of the stat boosting here, because you debuffed them before? I don't actually know if you debuffed them before. Forgot that it's not guaranteed anymore, but very good game there, 1 HP on a Dream. I forgot that the debuff from the Registeel is now only 66%, I think, or like 60%, I think 66, which is now a little bit trickier in some scenarios. We see the Dragonite in the lead here. Against them, they have to swap out, of course, with the Swampert there. Swampert would get hard-walled, but I think even though they would get hard-walled, against a Shadow version, I think you're still two-shotted with the Hydro Cannon. Definitely is close. We see another Swampert coming in here, so this seems to be a pretty horrible matchup so far, at least. But the Dragonite gets completely hard-walled by the Pokemon that you have in the back. And if the opponent is double weak to you in the back, like, they have nothing really to do there. Like, there's not a lot that they can do. You're going to go for one more move here. This will knock out the opponent. They're going to swap into that Dragonite anyway. But you will be able to hard-wall them now. Even the other move, which is going to be the Superpower, would get knocked out there. But actually, we will see a Stunfisk coming in here. Stunfisk will not appreciate this overheat. You go straight for it. You will get it low. You will get to another one here. Here's the question. Do you... Never mind. This solves the question. I was like asking, do you want to shield this or not? But I guess not. Because they are not even shielding your moves anymore. You can go for one move here. They're most likely going to shield as well. Or not. And they're going to lose this match. Yeah, very good game there. A very interesting one there. I think the opponent likes their shield in the grave, but it's fine. We see another horrible lead here as they swap out immediately to the Stunfisk. That's actually pretty decent for you. Because you also got the energy lead a little bit, I think you can just outspeed them to the next move as well. You will be easily able to survive one Earthquake here. It's the Ultra League, Registeel is even bulkier here, and you can go for one move, but you overfarm too much here. This will be another Earthquake most likely, and you would have been able to knock them out otherwise. That's kind of unfortunate, to be honest. And you can have to throw here, which is even worse. Yeah, like getting to the move there would have been fine, and would have been definitely way better. You try to catch the move, didn't work out, but we see a Registeel coming in. I think you win this. I'm pretty sure you win this. You can just shield everything here. It's going to be a Zapkin, it's fine. You're going to get the debuff there, sadly. You're going to go for the bait, which is also okay. Going to be the player off. They're going to no shield. Okay, that's going to be tough now. You have to go for the overheat somewhere. You have to try to get this thing low. You have to try to get the shields. Okay, you get this thing at least a little bit lower. You're going to shield up the next move as well. You kind of have to catch the next move, I think. And maybe they're actually going to go into the Dragonite here. Okay. Maybe you still have a chance then. You will be able to go for one player off, get the shield. They still have to throw charge moves against you, and they have basically nothing to do there. I think they expected you to swap out and clear the debuff, but you didn't, which now allows them, like, that basically makes this matchup way better for you, as the Dragonclaw will not do anything. Even the Superpower will not do anything. You should still survive one Superpower here, but they go for the Dragonclaw anyway, and you can go for one player off. You have one move slot still on your Swampert. Let's see what you're going to do now. You could swap out, but they're actually going to throw the move anyway. You will be able to now go into your Swampert, go for one Hydro Cannon immediately, but actually they swap into their Registeel now. What a game so far, just swapping out the entire time. Ultra League is just so bulky that people get to the move so fast, and like it's just like swapping game the entire time. But you will be able to farm them all the way down. You can go for two moves, and they actually decide to Serena prior. Good game there. Next opponent, we will see the Virizion in the lead. That's horrible for your team. You are double weak to this Pokemon here. Virizion going to break the core between the Registeel and the Swampert, which is definitely not ideal. I guess actually maybe with the current update for the Ultra League, with Virizion being better, and the other fighters like the Cobalium or also the Buzzwole being better, something like an XL Galarian might be a little bit better as a core as well here for the Swampert in this league. But at least you hardwall this thing with your Weezing, and you will see the Stunfisk coming in, and you keep your energy, which I guess does make a lot of sense. Your Swampert basically has no use. I'm not sure why you shield this, to be honest. You would have survived it definitely. And you will just end up in the same matchup before. Maybe you want to keep your Swampert alive, but even this will not help you too much. You can go for another Hydro Cannon, of course. I think that's on their Rock Slide, but I'm not sure about the shield there. They're going to go into their Virizion anyway, but maybe you could just keep it alive. Maybe I'm wrong. You're going to go for one more charge move here, and you can swap out immediately. Maybe it helps you that you still have the Swampert. You can go for the charge move. This will most likely get shielded, as this would knock them out. Or not. I guess the Swampert, keeping the Swampert there actually helped you a lot. Not sure what the opponent really did there, but yeah, if they just shield, I think you would have been definitely not in a good spot, but like this, you can just go for your charge moves, you will get this thing always lower, and you still have your Swampert, you can just let this move go through. Like, I don't think they can really farm you down here. They go for one Flash Cannon, which is actually super effective, which is annoying for you, but you can just go for another Overheat, and now you just have to go for one Hydro Cannon, and you will be able to win this game, or they're just going to let this move go through anyway. A very interesting gameplay so far. We see the next opponent having a Tapu Fini in the lead, so you have to swap out immediately. Go over into the Weezing, but I guess your Reggie steals your safe swap as we see a Cobalion coming in. I think they can take one Focus Blast here from you and they will get Focus Blasted here. But it is fine for them as they can get to 2 moves, which I think KO you the Sacred Sword. I think after the fast move it might have been, but you will be able to use another Focus Blast, which they definitely will shield up here. And they just tried to farm you down, which didn't work, so they're going to go for another charge move, which will knock you out. You will get hit by one move here against your Swampert, but you will be able to also gain a ton of energy, which is very nice for you. They actually get to another move here as well. They had a ton of energy, and you will be able to knock them out now. You can store one move, and you can just go for the bait here. Very interesting bait. I'm not sure if they're going to shield here, to be honest. And yeah, I was like thinking, there's not really a reason for them to shield. Getting rid of all your shields is a little bit tricky for the opponent. And we see a Stunfisk coming in. This makes it all a little bit more tricky, but luckily they threw Prior, which can help you out a lot now, because you will be able to get into your Swampert a little bit faster in this matchup, and you will be able to go for one more Overheat here, and you're nearly getting down the switch timer again, and you can lock them all in, but they're actually going to let the move go through. You're going to have to swap out here. You're gonna go for a shield here, I think? You're not shielding this, okay, interesting. Maybe I'm wrong. You can go for 2 Players, I guess, as well. I would have went for 2 Hydro Cannons instead, because it would get the shield, definitely would put them into range. And I think this does not KO like this, so I think my way would have been a little bit better. But yeah, I think so. I think shielding the Swampert would have been a little bit better, but hey, it's fine. We see a Talonflame lead. Very good lead finally, as you are still not be able to KO them before they can go for one Brave Bird against you, which also doesn't KO you. So like you could also just let this move go through if you want to, but I don't think you will. Exactly. Keeping this Pokemon alive might be beneficial for you, especially if they swap in a Alolan Muck here, which doesn't make any sense at all. You go for the bait, which worked out really well for you. I would go for the Earthquake now immediately, and you do the same. This should knock out the opponent, and it will knock out the opponent as we see a Trevenant coming in. You're gonna go into your Weezing, which I'm not sure about, to be honest. It's your best answer for that thing, and they can just go into their bird again, I think, afterwards, but you also will be able to knock them out with one play rough there, as even though the matchup against the bird isn't as decent, you will be able to still knock them out as they are already super low health. But they swap perfectly onto this Overheat here. They will get overheated with their bird, but you can go now into your Registeel, I guess. But it's such a tough matchup, to be honest. 2 Shadow Balls will nearly knock you out already. This will get you pretty low, and you can go for one more Zap Cannon before they even reach their next move. They always have to farm up to basically 100 energy to threaten your Swampert coming in as well. And you try to catch the move, and you sadly don't get there in time. That's kind of annoying. They go for the 1 Seed Bomb, and they will knock you out here. You still might be able to take one move though. I don't know if the Shadow Ball does KO, it doesn't KO, and you can go for one Zap Cannon, which will win you the game there. I think swapping out into the Swampert might have been actually the best play that you could have done there, so good game there. And we go into the final game, I think. Here we see a Sylveon in the lead. Pretty horrible. We see a Swampert coming in, and you definitely have to stay in here. You have nothing for a Swampert. Like, if you don't face in the lead, like, you're kind of screwed, to be honest. But we will see that you can shield this move up. They're gonna go for one Hydro Cannon as well. And it's just Hydro Cannon now on both sides, I think. As you're going to shield the next move as well, going to be another Hydro Cannon. You can go for your Hydro Cannon as well. And I think you should be able to outspeed them because they're swapped in, so you can go for an Earthquake to knock them out. They go for the Hydro Cannon prior, which does make sense. Doesn't knock you out, you can go for the Earthquake, and you will go for the Earthquake against the Walrein. Not ideal. You can farm up to another Hydro Cannon though if you wanted to, but you don't want to. Not sure if you I think you should have went up to another Hydro Cannon. Like, you definitely will survive the Powder Snow. You only needed a few more Mud Shots, which would have put you into range where you would have got better to the move against the Swampert. But unless, I mean, they go for an Earthquake here, right? Yeah, they go for an Earthquake, it doesn't KO you, and you just barely get to the move anyway. Okay, this basically makes it not as relevant, I guess, because you're going to be able to resist the charm on your Weezing and you will be able to win this endgame here, hopefully with some overheat action after one play rough. But yeah, thanks for letting me commentate those battles here. Very cool Pokemon, to be honest. You will be able to survive on Psyshock easily. Very bulky Pokemon, and I think it has a lot of potential in the upcoming Ultra League session as well. So if you want to build one, I think it's actually worth it. So thanks for watching. If you have your own battles, there's a link in the description to submit them. And that's going to be it for the video. Thanks for watching. See you next one. Have a great rest of your day. Bye.